Hey guys, it is Windham, also known as That Filthy Casual, and I am embarking on a quest. I am using IMDB's 250 best movies of all time checklist. How many have you seen? I'm going to post the link down below so you guys can take the quiz yourselves. I'm someone that considers herself a movie buff. I love movies, I love watching movies with people, I love discussing movies, and you know what? I've only seen 69 out of the 250 movies on IMDb is rated the best. That's a friggin' 28%. I don't know. I'm ashamed of myself because I love movies and I watch more movies than probably all of my friends in college. I've seen more movies than they have. So yeah, I was a bit disturbed. So I decided that I am going to watch every single movie on that list. And I'm going to do a review of them and discuss them and learn a little bit along the way. First of all, this is the 2013 edition of the IMDb's 250 best rated movies of all time. So what I'm also going to do is, after I'm done with this, I'm going to retake the quiz for the 2015 updated edition and see what has changed and see if there's any on there that have been added that I haven't seen. Anyway, on this list, a lot of people are going to be shocked about the movies that come up. Oh, you've never seen this? Oh my gosh. I only said that I've seen them if I've sat down and I know that as an adult, I have sat and watched it beginning to end and I remember something about the plot. I'm not counting movies that I saw back in the day that my mom showed me when I was little, or that someone showed me, or that I've seen the majority of in class or something. I'm counting movies that I've actually sat down and had an experience watching them. So we are here for the first movie, and this first movie is Taxi Driver. I'm doing these reviews, and so don't watch these if you don't like spoilers. I'm sorry, but to discuss them in detail, there's going to be some spoilers, so don't watch. If you haven't seen Taxi Driver, I'd say go out and watch Taxi Driver, and then comment and see if you agree with what I said.
You talking to me?
You talking to me? We've all heard of it, but I'm sure a lot of people have not actually sat down and watched this movie. So, this movie came out in 1976, a long time ago. We're coming up on, what, 40 years? So, Martin Scorsese, he openly has discussed that the entire feel of this film is supposed to be like you're in a dreamlike limbo state. And honestly, I couldn't agree more. The entire thing is what I like to describe as being atmospheric. It's something I always used to describe the movie Virgin Suicides, which is a completely different movie altogether. But everything is very hazy, atmospheric. You literally feel like you're watching from above, like when you have a dream. And Scorsese specifically said that is the tone that he was trying to go for with this film. And I would have to say he nailed it. Then you come to find out a reason that he can't sleep is he's kind of a freak. So first of all, as far as the cast goes, I loved the cast. I thought it was great. Robert De Niro was great. Jodie Foster was great. Sybil Shepherd was great. Everybody else was okay, but they're not, like, the entire movie doesn't necessarily rest on their shoulders. So cast-wise, everything was brilliant. Robert De Niro was brilliant, and we all know that he's a method actor. For this movie, he actually went out and was a taxi driver for a solid week to 2 weeks. We all know that he does anything in order to get a role. As far as, I think something that he's done is he's gained like 60 pounds. So, super flippin' dedicated. You know, Robert De Niro became a household name because of this movie. Jodie Foster, this was her breakout role. And, I mean, you can definitely see why. And it starts out, and you kind of go, okay, here's this dude. He wants a job. Because he can't sleep. The way that he looks at everything. He looks at this grisly town of New York City. He looks at this grisly city, and he goes, I hate this. People should clean up the streets. Burp, burp, burp. And of course, you start going, oh, he's gonna be a self-righteous vigilante. And you know what? He becomes a friggin' self-righteous vigilante. So, I would say from the beginning, there aren't necessarily a lot of surprises as far as plot goes. You kind of understand where it's gonna go. You introduce Sybil Shepherd. He's kind of obsessed with Sybil Shepherd. Betsy. something, a female political assistant. She's fabulous in the fact that the entire time that I was watching her, you just feel her looking at the world and judging it internally and internalizing everything and considering everything. And also, you never really see on her face outward shock. Everything is kind of super internalized, which I think is just fabulous for this role, especially considering the dreamlike nature of everything. It's just brilliant. And so you have Robert De Niro being a taxi driver, living in New York City, gets a crush on a girl, asks the girl out on a date, and on said date, completely freaks her out by taking to a porno. I mean, I'm sorry, but I think I would be a little insulted if some guy took me to a porno too. But I think I would at least be like, hey, this is a porno. I might at least give him the decency of hearing out why he took me to a porno. I don't know you that well. This isn't really cool, and this isn't really my taste in movies that I prefer to see around other people. Can we not go see this? Can we go see something else? I think, unless he was a total creeper, I would give him the time of day. So, Sybil just kind of writing him off I think is weird, especially since she openly admitted to feeling drawn to him before. So because of that, he kind of goes crazy and gets crazy obsessed with her. And then he decides, oh, you know what, I should just go kill the senator. So he starts buying all these guns and decides to go kill the senator. And in the meantime, he meets sweet little prostitute Iris, played by Jodie Foster. Now, something that really confuses me about this is Jodie Foster is flippin' brilliant. She also got a stalker because of this role. This role gave her her own stalker that then made headlines because he tried to assassinate the president and he said that he did it for her. So, why does she not have more screen time? It literally seems like she's in 3 scenes. I'm pretty sure she's in 3 scenes. I don't understand why this girl, who was also, this was the film that really kind of put her name out there, kind of put her out there. So her first big debut as a young woman. She also was nominated for an Academy Award for this role. Why was she not shown more? She's introduced and she's in the back of the cab. I think he sees her walking around town once. Then he sits and has lunch with her once. And then he goes to try to rescue her once and in the big fight final scene. Because every time I hear anything about this movie, it has nothing to do with Sybil Shepherd, who is awesome, but you never really hear about her. She's kind of an external motivator, kind of working around on the outside. You don't really see her very much. You see the relationship and the interactions between Robert De Niro's character and Jodie Foster's character. So why would she not be on screen more? It's like 4, I think you see her 4 times in this movie, and yet she was nominated for an Academy Award. I wanted more. He meets her and decides to try to change the world, but he's also kind of in the vigilante stage. So he decides to kill the senator, which I don't really understand. They never really gave you an answer as to why he thought that that would be the best thing. Unless it's just to get Sybil Shepherd's attention. I don't know. I found that kind of confusing, his rationale behind that, because the senator genuinely seemed like a good person, and the senator was the one person in all of the city that really cared about his opinion and was kind towards him. And maybe it's just to show you how warped Robert De Niro really was. Maybe it's just to show you how warped and crazy his mind really was, to be like, ooh, haha, this guy hurt me. You know what? I'm gonna shoot him. I don't know. I don't really get the rationale behind that. But he chickens out. It doesn't work after he gives himself his fancy mohawk. So then he decides to go and gun down a brothel. And he guns down a brothel. And it's supposed to be this huge climactic event. It's supposed to be like this huge thing. And I couldn't get into it. I'm sorry. I made the comment afterwards. I was like, so this dude gets his hand shot off. Because that's literally what happens. This guy gets his hand shot off. They're having this big brawl. And the guy that gets his hand shot off has so much adrenaline rushing through his system that he decides to go up like 2 more flights of stairs with the shot off hand that I'm sure is just bleeding profusely and try to take down the guy with the gun that just shot off his own flipping hand with no weapon. I didn't understand that, and I didn't really find that too realistic. As well as kind of the overacting in that scene. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you.
I'll kill you! I'll kill you! I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
Yeah, I didn't understand that entire scene. I got why Robert De Niro was doing it. I got why I wanted to be a vigilante. I got why he gave everybody a hard time. But then he goes and shoots off this dude's hand, and then this guy turns around and attacks him. To me, it just doesn't seem like a rational, realistic response. But maybe that's just me. But also, you know what I mean? I don't work in a brothel, and I've also never had my hand shot off. So I can't exactly speak from experience. So then Jodie Foster is rescued by a vigilante, Robert De Niro, and he's written about in the paper, and they write him a letter. And apparently his life is good, and he's happy. Or is he? I like how they left that open-ended, because he is still crazy, he is still insane, he does still have social issues. He did still try to assassinate a senator for the sake of talking to a girl. Overall, I would say cast, brilliant, plotline, brilliant, but there were some parts that I didn't necessarily understand his motivation for what he did. But that's just personally, I just didn't get it from watching it. I'm sure other people completely understand. That's fine. Comment, just agree, disagree. These are just things that I noticed. Also, I didn't know anything about the plot. I didn't read what the plot was supposed to be, so I came in completely blind just watching this, other than knowing the famous quote and knowing about Jodie Foster. But anyway, Scorsese, of course, did a great job. This opened up so many doors, and he did so many films with Robert De Niro afterwards. I'm sure that they're going to do more in the future. So it was definitely worth it. It made it into the National Film Registry in 1994 because it's considered one of the best movies of all time. And it was also considered way too graphic. For back in the 70s, they actually had to tone down the color of the blood because there was too much blood. With the flaws that I saw, if I had to give it a score out of 10, I would say maybe a 7 out of 10. Kept my attention to the very end. I wasn't bored. Music was great. The soundtrack, everything, scoring, spot on, perfect. Loved the shots of the city. Loved how you could really get lost in the fact that New York at the time, it wasn't considered a clean, beautiful city. Today you go to New York and you go to Manhattan, and you go downtown and you look around, you go to Times Square and it's flipping gorgeous and the streets are clean and the city is really, really nice. It didn't used to be like that. They cleaned it up recently. So I really love how they really just depicted how dirty the city was. Anyway. So, thanks for watching, guys. Again, this is Windham Ryce, your filthy casual, and you have just watched IMDB's 250 greatest movie titles of all time, 2013 edition. How many have you seen? I got a long way to go. I'm gonna kill you.